Hello, my name is Dominic and welcome to the Pondweed House, Darien's oldest house still standing.
Hi, I'm Clara and we're part of the History Kids of Darien. Now come let us take you inside for a tour.
The land on which the Pondweed House resides was first purchased from the Selleck's family by Nathaniel Pond in the 1690s. The house was then sold to Nathaniel Weed in 1716. The Weed family would continue to reside in this house for over 200 years. One member of the Weed family, Deborah Weed's signature can be seen here from the year 1763.
So welcome to the parlor that we're in right now. Rumor has it that this house used to be called the Halfway House because of its location on the Old Boston Post Road between New York and Boston. This house in its time has served as both a tavern and a blacksmith shop. In fact, it's even the last commercial building still standing from its period. Another tavern was demolished in the 1960s, and the original mill and blacksmith shop was destroyed by fires in the 1920s.
It is often said that George Washington actually stopped here on his trip down from Boston to New York during the Revolutionary War.
So back in the original structure of the house, the parlor downstairs was actually the original kitchen. But now in this kitchen we're standing in right now, this was actually added to create the salt box structure of the house in 1716. This is a good place to talk about how fireplaces are built nowadays versus how they were built back then. Nowadays, in more recent houses, fireplaces are typically slapped onto the side of the house. But when houses were built back then, the fireplace was initially built and the rest of the house was built around it. This is because of how important the fireplaces were in those days as a central heating system of the house.
This is the master bedroom, and there are a few interesting and unique architectural features I'd like to point out. The first of which is in each of the four corner beams. This shape, in which there's an unusual notch carved in halfway down the beam, is called a gunstock post. And although purely decorative, it is incredibly unusual for houses of that time. The second feature are the ceiling beams in this room. And it's interesting to note that the ceiling beams on the second floor are actually perpendicular to the ceiling beams on the first floor, which is very, very unusual and very unique of this house. The third feature I'd like to point out is right in here. Though this room did not actually have a fireplace, it backed on to the stone structure of the fireplaces down below. That way, residents could open up this closet and receive some residual heat from the fireplaces down below.
Another really cool feature of the house is actually on this stairwell leading back downstairs. And it's right here on the support system in the beam right here. The people who constructed the house actually constructed everything outside the house, and they had a system for marking these supports with this support right here to make sure that they were matching the pieces together, kind of like a puzzle. So on this beam right here, you can see there's 2 little X marks and then 3 little other notches, meaning that these 2 pieces fit together inside the house, so they knew where to put the beam.
Here, next to the back door of the Pondweed House, we can see this plaque, marking the house as being on the National Register of Historic Places.
Here are some other interesting features on the back of the house, including a well, the back door, and these original shingles, dated to 1716.